Hiya, Laurie here. Welcome back. So we're on part 3 now. Thank you so much for all your wonderful feedback and for chatting away with me in the comments. I really do appreciate it. I love hearing from you guys. So we're almost finished our ephemera folder. So quick recap on what we did last week. I will link the other ones down below, part 1 and 2. If you haven't seen them, I would suggest watching those first. So the inside we have lined with this gorgeous paper, and then last time we made our signatures and we sewed our pockets with a zigzag stitch. So we've got 5 signatures, and like I said, I'm going to do them alternate, so it'll be one page with a patterned paper on the outside and then one page from the vintage book paper, and I gilded all the edges as well, if you remember, with the this Rub 'n Buff in Autumn Gold. And today we're going to be binding these in and then decorating this as well. So first off, I thought that we could add the pockets to the inside, so I've already pre-cut those down just to save on time. So I've got a bottom loading pocket for the front, and then I thought about a wee side pocket for the back, so it gives you more space to add stuff. So you can put your tall stuff here, and then your not so tall but still kind of, I don't know, stuff you want to grab regularly, so you don't have to like flip through the pages. So I'm just going to glue these down because I'd already glued these parts. I can't sew them onto the page, but I have stitched around the edges just to give that illusion. And then I'm just going to stick them down with my 3-in-1 Beacon Advanced Craft Glue, which is my fave. Obviously you don't need to stitch around it. Hold on, I need to grab a wee wipe to clean the glue off. You don't need to stitch around it. This is just, it's not kind of giving any structure, it's just pretty. So I'm just going to add the glue around the 3 sides and I'll stick that on. So I've noticed that I've got a lot of new subscribers recently, so welcome guys. Thank you for subscribing and crafting along with me. It's really nice to be chatting with you in the comments and hear your feedback. It really does make my day, so thank you very much for that. So when we are finished this folio, it will be a giveaway, so I'm hoping that will be today, but we'll see how we go, how we get on, if we get it finished today, or if we maybe need to add a few little bits and bobs. Thank you for any suggestions you gave on what to do decoration wise. Really appreciated. I've picked out a lace to put across the spine, a little book plate, I think they're called. I'll show you in a second. And someone had mentioned a brooch, so I think that was Laurie actually. Hi Laurie. So I thought I could look out my little cameos. If you watch me at all, you'll know I'm kind of obsessed with the little cameos. I absolutely love them. So rather than a brooch, which can be quite chunky, I thought we could maybe add one of those as a little metal embellishment, a little framed cameo. But we'll see what we get done. This is what I meant by a book plate, one of these little doodads. I did mean to stick this on before I added these, but I blanked. Brain fart. So, but you don't have to, obviously. It's just more secure to poke it all the way through, but I mean, I still could do that, it's just you would see the brads on the other side, which I don't personally like. But there is ways around it. So now I'm going to just take some graph paper, just regular old graph paper, and I'm just going to line this up with my spine area and trim it, not trim it, sorry, mark it where I want it to be kind of sitting inside the spine so that it's not going to stop it from closing and stuff. And then I'm just going to trim that down. I'm just grabbing my paper trimmer. I'm going to shove this out of the way. I hope that this doesn't eat it up because it's bad for that. I don't know if I got a faulty one or what, but it's been like that since I got it. It's just, it chews it. I don't know why, and it doesn't matter if I change the blade or whatever, and then it leaves all these little bits in here, which then catch on the blade. It's petty problems, but still. I'm going to pop that out of the way because I don't need that now. So this should fit nice and snug in there, and it's not going to stop me from being able to open and close it. And then instead of measuring it to the spine, I measure it to the page, so the height of the page. So I'll line it up to the edges. And then I'm just going to trim this off with my scissors and hope I go straight. And then this is what we got. So I have 5 signatures. Put that out of the way just now. So I'm going to fold this in half. Ooh, it's lined on the other side. And then fold it in half again. And this is just kind of giving me a rough guide to where I can sit my signatures. So I'm just going to grab my ruler and my pencil and draw those lines in. And this is the same process that I do when I am finding a book, depending on how many signatures, depends on how many times I will fold it. But this is my centre, so I need 2 on this side, 2 on this side, and 1 in the middle. Okay, sorry about that, I forgot to put my phone on airplane mode, and I keep getting messages while I'm filming, and you can hear them in the video. When I'm editing, I can hear them, and I can't always edit them out, so it just kind of dawned on me to do it. So yeah, we need 2 on this side, 2 on this side, and 1 in the middle. So we want them obviously equally spaced apart. So it is just kind of in the middle of 3.5, so about 3¼ centimetres. And I'm going to just kind of pop it on a centimetre. And I'm going to use the lines that are already on here as the lines for my signatures, because they should be equally spaced apart. Can you see that? So this big drawn line is 1 signature, and then that's the other 4. I'm going to draw those in as well. Okay, so then I like to do a 5-hole pamphlet stitch rather than a 3-hole pamphlet stitch. If you want to do a 3-hole, that is completely fine. It's just I prefer it, I think it's more stable, more sturdy, I think the word is. So what I do is I come down a couple of centimetres from the top, and then I find the middle of, like, so I draw a line, and then I'll find the middle between the centre line and that line. So I like to keep it quite close to the top, so I'll come down about 1.5 centimetres, and that's about this line here, and then 1.5 centimetres, and again that's this line here. So that's where I'll be putting my holes. So I've now got a line in the middle and a line here, and I want to find roughly the centre of these, but I do like to do it on a line because otherwise it can get confusing. For me at least, if I'm in the middle of a line, I tend to try to gravitate towards around up or down basically. So we're almost 11 centimetres. So I'm going to draw my line about here. So that's just under 6, and that's purely because 5.5 is in the middle of a box. Okay. I feel like I'm making this far more complicated than it actually is. So again, we're about 11. So again, I'm going to go to about 6.5. Am I? I'm actually going to do it here, which is about 6. And then I'm just going to draw my line. And again, you can judge it. You could even fold it. It's entirely up to you. If I'm only doing a 3-hole pamphlet stitch, what I will do is I will fold it and then fold it again, and that'll give me my accurate lines, unless I want it pretty close to the top, which I like it to be closer to the top so that it's giving you your stability from your page, so your hole's not like way down here and then none of this is bound. It's just again a preference, but everywhere there is a cross is where I'm going to punch a hole. And where I will be punching it through the spine area of my ephemera folder. So I'm just drawing a big dot basically, just to kind of give me a better viewpoint of where I'm punching the hole, and just to kind of emphasize to you guys as well. So this is my little guide. And then making sure it's the right way up, I've got my little pencil case here. This is where I keep all my tools for binding. I'm going to grab a couple of clamps and my owl. If you don't have an owl, you can use a thick needle, like sewing needle, or you can use a thumbtack. I've heard people have used those. You definitely don't need to go out and buy one unless you obviously want one. They're not that expensive. I think I got like 3 for a couple of pound off of AliExpress, like this. So they're not that expensive. Obviously, if you're ordering from like AliExpress, like any Chinese website, it does take its time to get to you. But other than that, it's worth it in my mind because it's cheaper. But like I said, a thumbtack, a thick needle, anything like that will do the same job basically. So I'm just going to go ahead and poke all of these holes. So that's all the holes popped through. Easy peasy. And now I need to do that to my signatures. So we've already got our fold already prepared for us. So what I do, grabbing a couple of clamps, and I just use the fold that is already there, slide it in to the folder of our page or signature, and then I clamp it at the top on either side and at the bottom on either side, and that's just going to keep it nice and snug for us. It's not going to move around. And then I don't have any of those fancy little cradles or anything like that, so I just fold it slightly so that I'm not going to be like stabbing myself. Find the hole, and then I poke it through so that it comes through into the corner, into the outside fold. And I just do this to all my signatures. And again, if I'm binding a book, this is the exact same process that I use. Okay, so that's all our holes poked, and all our holes poked there. Wicked easy. If you've never bound a book before, I would say that this is probably your easiest option to kind of figure out what you're doing if you want to practice, but not meaning like have it be a waste of time. You can make one of these because you're only sewing one piece of paper in as a signature, but you're not doing it as like a menial task. You're doing it to still create something. You know what I mean? So we have our 2 book pages and our 3 scrapbooking pages. And I'm thinking I'm going to make this the front page because I really like it. And then this one. And then this one. This one. And then this one can be back. So like I said, I've done it alternate pages, like so. Obviously you could have 3 book pages and then 2 scrapbooking papers, or you could have it all the same, or you could just use white card and it would look just as pretty. A lot of this is going to get covered up when the pockets get filled anyway. It's just, we know it's there. Okay. So you can use embroidery thread or waxed linen thread, or just normal thread really. I'm going to be using this really pretty brown wax linen thread. If I can find my needle, which is in here somewhere. I was starting to worry because I made myself a little traveller's notebook, just like plain white paper basically, last night while I was in bed, and I got worried that I'd left the needle lying somewhere in the bed for a second there, because that would not be the first time. So I just kind of eyeball it, but you do want at least 3 times the amount of your page, and then a little leeway is what I like. Usually I'm left over with tons of thread at the end of it, but that's my preference. I'd rather have too much than too little, because there's nothing worse than getting halfway through binding something and then having to start over again. It's a pain in the neck. So my thread is full of wax. Yay. So I'm just threading my needle, and this is the needle I'm using. It's relatively big and relatively thick. You don't want a needle that's too thin because it could snap on you, and you want it just to be easy for yourself as well to kind of get in and out. So I start from the back, but you can start from the front. You can also start from this side or this side, really depends. If you don't want to see the threads at all, start from this side and then hide them. Or if you're not too bothered, or you want the option to maybe remove a signature later on, you can start from the inside. Most people start from the inside just because it's nice. You can hang charms and things like that on top. On top throughout, like from the little dangly bits that you're left behind with the thread. That made no sense, I apologise. But I'm starting from the middle anyway, and I'm leaving a good amount of thread inside, and then you can go up or down, really up to you. This is hard to do while keeping in the camera, but I will try my best. You're going to bring it back inside basically, and then through the second hole, and pull it tight, not too tight because again you don't want to be pulling this through. And then you're basically just going to do a running stitch. That is the secret to the bookbinding method. It is completely just a running stitch. So once you reach the bottom, just the same as a normal running stitch, you're going to come back on itself and do another running stitch all the way to the top. If I can get hold of the blooming needle. So again, back through here. Try not to thread through your thread. Try not to obviously like stitch through your thread, because that'll make it difficult to tighten it. But what you're going to do first, like I said, obviously you're going to just do a running stitch, but you are going to miss the middle bit. So jump past that and through the hole above it. You can continue on. It is really, really as simple as doing a running stitch. Honestly, anyone can do this. It just takes practice, especially if you've got more than one page. This is super easy because it is only one page. Obviously, if I had multiple pages, it would be more tricky, but not ridiculously tricky. It just is like everything else. Practice makes perfect. So again, I'm just working my way back down. And then now I will come up through that center stitch, and I've kind of pulled this out of the way so that I'm not going to catch it on my way up, or my way through rather. And then I'm just going to take my needle and I'm going to slide it underneath that thread so that I have one on either side of the middle part of the thread. Alright, so this little guy is in the middle of these two strands. And then I'm just going to pull them away from each other. Take my needle off. Pull them away from each other and tie it off. And then I'm going to leave these longer in case whoever gets this does want to add charms, because they would dangle out the bottom. But that is our first signature, and that's not going anywhere. That's nice and secure. Alright, so I'll show you guys another one. I might speed it up slightly, and then I'll go ahead and do the other ones off camera. But it really is just as simple as a running stitch. Okay, yay. So we now have all our signatures and they're all nicely spaced apart, so plenty of growth can happen on the inside. We have our pocket on the back and on the front. So now it's just time to decorate. And like I said, I have left the tails, so if you get this, if you win this and you don't want those, trim them off, or you could add little beads or dangles or charms or whatever you want to add to it. But I'm just going to leave those as is, as I don't know if everybody would like that, so I don't want to do it and then the person who wins it doesn't want it, basically. So I picked out this lace here, which is just freaking stunning. How beautiful and elegant is that? And I thought it would look really cute because it would peek over like so. So I'm going to cover up the stitching. I mean, it won't be completely covered. You'll still kind of see through it because it is quite sheer. But I quite like that look. And then it's going to give a really nice sort of scalloped edge to the front and on the back as well. So I really like that. I hope you guys do it as well. So I'm just going to trim this down to the size I need it to be. And my scissors are getting to the point where I need to sharpen them, and I don't know how to do that. So I haven't done it, basically. I'm just going to kind of straighten that up a touch. And I'm going to again to use the Beacon 3-in-1 glue, and I'm going to kind of flatten this out like so. And find the front. So how is everyone's new year? I hope you had a really nice one. Hopefully this is going to be a better year, 2021, than the previous year. I saw 2020 out in style. I fell on my stairs outside on my way to the post office. So we have like concrete stairs on the way up to the house, and Jack Frost pulled my feet out from underneath me. So that's how I saw out 2020. It got its last licking, and but we had a nice New Year's Day dinner. We had some stew, as I couldn't get any puff pastry. People are going crazy again with the overbuying because we're back into lockdown, and again people are stocking up, and so I couldn't get any puff pastry for New Year's Day. So we had stew and dumplings, which were delicious, if I do say so myself, and we had some leftover birthday cake for my daughter's birthday, and we played some games. It was good fun. It's a good day. So what did you guys get up to? I hope you had a really nice day in the house with your family. You are safe. So I know that Scotland's back on lockdown. What's it like where you are? We're in we're doing like a tier system. So we're in tier 4, I believe, until the end of this month. So the schools are off, all unessential businesses are closed, and all that jazz. What's it like where you are? I know the vaccine has started to be distributed. So hopefully that helps. I know a lot of people are hesitant about using it, but I hope I'm in frame, by the way. I'm sorry. I'm too busy concentrating on what I'm doing and then I forget to look up at the camera to see if you guys can actually see what I'm doing. Yeah, so I know a lot of people are still quite hesitant about taking the vaccine, and I don't know. Obviously I'm not your mum, I'm not going to tell you to take it or not. It's obviously your choice. It's a tricky one. It's a tricky one. So here is our spine, and there's the back, and there's the front. I love how this frames the front. I absolutely love that. So, book plate. That is what they're called, right? So I thought if I took a little bit of this stuff here and use that at the back, because I've had to do that with one of mine as well, because I did the exact same thing. I forgot to put the book plate on first, and then I basically had to do this. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to add a little bit of glue around here, and then I'm going to glue it on, and I'm going to use my glossy accents for that, and then I'm going to poke the holes and use brads as well. So this is just kind of like to hold it in place as I do what I do. And then you'll still be able to slide a piece of paper, a piece of card, whatever, inside this to name your folder. So it's still got that little gap at the top where you can insert. So you can still insert something in here to say what you're keeping, like labels or fussy cuts or whatever it is you're keeping inside it. And then I'm just going to take my smaller scissors and trim this down a little touch at the top. I think I'll put my brads in first, actually. So I'm going to grab my owl again. Give that a second. I'm going to grab 4 brads and just get this. This is a little storage container box that I got from, where did I get it? Home Bargains, I think it was. Pretty sure it was Home Bargains. I'm just going to grab 4 brads that are similar colour. 1, 3, 4. So I'm going to poke the holes just where the holes already are, basically, and this is just going to make it look like little screws are holding this in place, and it's also just going to hold it in place a little bit more than the glue would. So the glue obviously is still pretty strong, but this is pretty, and I'm just pushing this to the side like so, because otherwise you'll see it. And I'm doing the same for all 4. I'm just pushing them to the one side, and that'll still give me the structure I need without having to trim them down or anything like that. So that the back of it now, you might not be able to see that because of all the little leaves, but the back, they're all pointing inwards, basically. My word of the month So again, I'm just going to take my scissors and I'm going to fussy cut it out. So there we go, or rather, there we go. So this is the top. It's got the little hole still in it. So I'm going to glue that right there, right in between that little V shape there. And I think that looks really pretty. So again, I'm just going to use my 3-in-1 craft glue, because I'm not actually gluing the metal. If I was gluing the metal, I would use the glossy accents. Although I have seen people use this for metal and it seems to work just fine. It's just, I don't know, it's just my preference again. If I'm gluing metal or anything like that, I always like to use the glossy accents. It took me forever to find the glossy accents and hear about it. When I was making my sister's journal, which was the first journal I ever made, I could not get metal to stick at all. I was using super glue, I was using that Gorilla Glue, I tried E6000, nothing was gluing the metal embellishments that I wanted to add. And so unfortunately a lot of them just didn't get added to her book, and I was gutted. So when I came across glossy accents, I think I'd put a post on Facebook asking for advice on what to use, and a lot of people had suggested the glossy accents, and when I found it and tried it, I was like, oh, where have you been? So I think because of that, it's just whenever it comes to something metal, I trust it completely, so I don't like to kind of venture out and try anything else. But I have seen other people use the 3-in-1 and the other one. It's the same stuff, it's just named something else. It's like Fabrifix or Fabri-Tac or something like that. All three, I'm convinced, are the same product. They're just put in different bottles. I don't know why. Why they do that, but I'm pretty sure they're the same thing. I've used all three and all three seem to do the exact same. They feel the exact same, they smell the exact same. I'm pretty sure they're the same stuff. I prefer this, as it's the cheapest version of it, and it says this one says it's waterproof. I've never tested that theory, but apparently it's waterproof. So this is what we got so far. And then I also have a little cameo. This one has a rose on it, and it's like a purple shade, like a violet shade. I absolutely love it. I'm trying to my light's here. I'm waiting on another one to go on the other side because it seems more shaded on this end because the light is right here. So I'm trying to bring it up to light so you guys can see it as well. So I was thinking of popping this. It's still drying, that's why I'm kind of being delicate with it. Here in the center, or I don't know, should I put it like this way? I don't know. But yeah, I've just literally put some glossy accents on it because I forgot, and that's what I use to glue my cameos as well, as the glossy accents. So it's upside down. I think I'm going to put it here, and it'll be like a little button. So for this, I'm going to use the glossy accents because it's metal. So I'm just closing that up so it doesn't kind of peek open on me when this is drying. And I'm just going to take a decent amount. I don't want it to spill out, because obviously it's glossy accent, so it can be quite shiny. So I'm just kind of dragging it. Once I get near the edge, I'm just kind of dragging it into those little spaces, just so that the whole thing has a decent amount of glue on it. the good thing about glossy accents is that you can kind of manipulate it and move it where you need it to be. So I make sure that the entire thing is covered, and then pop it down. And I've not pressed it in yet because I'm just gonna, I want fiddle room. I want to be able to fiddle with it for a second to make sure it's where I want it. And then there we go. So this is us completed it. So I will go ahead and add a bunch of ephemera throughout this. So stuff that I would normally reach for, like labels, tags, things like that. Paper dolls, fussy cuts, stamps, the whole enchilada. I will add a few bits and bobs of each, and I will show you them next week. I won't fill it because obviously I'm sure whoever gets this will want to do that themselves. But I will put a decent amount in, which I will show you next week. So the giveaway does start today because we're finished. So all you have to do to enter into the giveaway is be subscribed, like the video, and leave a comment down below on a craft you would like me to do in the future. I'm not going to reply to comments on this video purely because I don't want to accidentally be put into the giveaway. I don't know how that works, but I will be doing one of those random name selection things online. So subscribe, like, and leave a comment down below of a craft video you would like to see me do, and I will announce the winner next week and show you the inside of the ephemera folder as well. But thank you so much for watching, everyone. I hope that you've had a wonderful week, a wonderful new start to a new year, and I hope you're all well and happy and healthy and being safe. Thank you so much for all my new subscribers and all my old subscribers. Thank you for sticking with me and for following along and crafting along, and all your lovely comments. You really do mean the world to me. So thanks for crafting with me and interacting with me. It's really nice. And I will see you next week to announce who will be getting this bad boy. Bye.